Hello YouTube family, James Green, Short Series Shenanigans. So in today's video we're going to talk about what's behind me here. Recent tool acquisition. That's something I picked up. It is a 12-inch 3-in-1. It actually is a roll, a slip roll, press brake, and also a shear. So I just want to go over it real quick. It's something that, you know, I don't need a really big one because I don't do a lot of stuff to where I need to, you know, roll huge long pieces of material or bend them. You guys have seen in my other videos my little pan brake that I've got, and this has fingers you can remove. There's 5 of them and you can adjust them accordingly. And then the shear, you know, now I've got a open throat shear, but this one's actually pretty good if I want to do something 12 inches long. Now this machine is rated for up to 20 gauge. So one of the reasons I got it was I was looking for just a slip roll. Okay, I don't need one very often, and when I do, it's I don't need something very long. And I looked at getting just a slip roll. I couldn't find just a slip roll for me that was reasonable. So I got to looking around, found one, and got it. Company had this online, and I'm guessing they probably wanted to get rid of them because the cost. Of course, this video is going to be on YouTube for a long time, so the cost was very reasonable, and it was shipped. So it was like, wow. And they only had a couple of them left, so I jumped on it. This thing isn't light. It's 115 pounds. So I had fun getting it up here on on this deal. I actually dropped my knee all the way down, picked it up, got it on there and raised it up. And I went through it just like anything import you get. It has that protectant all over it. So I disassembled it. It does come with a basic manual. You know, as far as very rudimentary. It gives you basic safety precautions. It gives you, you know, everything's pretty much broke down in metric measurements and imperial as well. Unpacking, it tells you what should be in there, what shouldn't be. Now I will say this, because of how it was put in the box with styrofoam, and it's 115 pounds, it beat the styrofoam to death. There were actually holes in the box. The Allen wrench was missing, but you know what? And I think 2 or 3 bolts fell out of the package. But you guys have heard me talk before about my pitfalls and having to deal with getting stuff shipped. Not a big deal. Common metric 6 by 1 point thread pitch metric screw. They were 20 millimeter long. Not a big deal. I had them. Other than that, everything was fine. There wasn't any damage. Nothing was messed up. Nothing was like dinged or twisted or whatever. Fortunately, you know, the worst thing that happened was this got tore, but I can live with that. So it gives you an idea, a parts description, parts list, and an exploded view. Now there's no place obviously to order parts for this. Like if you're missing something, this is just a description. So if something is missing, it's like, well, you either make it or you make it. You know, but for the money, what this cost, what I do, it was definitely worth it. It was it was under $300, I'll say that, and that was a heck of a bargain. And that's shipped, delivered to my front door. I've been needing to make the front guard on my surface grinder. I've got the face piece made, but the piece that needs to go around the outside, that's going to be aluminum. Well, I need a slip roll to curve that because I'm going to be using aluminum. Now I know it's 20 gauge and I've got some 3/16 aluminum. I'm going to experiment with and try heating and bending and being real gentle, and it's going to be a learning process. I'm going to see if I can do it. I've got some other thinner aluminum, but I want to see if I can use the same gauge material so when I go to weld it all together it'll fit. So then that'll be another video series. But we took it all apart. You know, disassemble, because when these come, here's the thing, a lot of equipment, import stuff, when it comes, it's not put together tight. It's always been my understanding the reason for that is, number one, they put because if you guys have shipped anything, or if you've been around the coast, or you go overseas, the salt and caustic environment eats metal up. So that's why they put all that stuff on there. It's the understanding that you're going to disassemble it, clean it, and reassemble it, and then line everything up. So that serves two purposes. Number one, you get to know your piece of equipment, whatever it is. Number two, you give it a good cleaning, and then you can put everything together. When I first got this, everything was loose and it wiggled and wobbled. That's fine, it's not a big deal. I've heard people comment in the past about certain things. Man, I got it, it was loose as heck and everything was falling apart. And I'm like, well, it's even when I got my lathe. Because you don't want to ship everything with it too stiff, because, you know, the package get dropped, something will break or, you know, get broken. So anyway, we took it apart, cleaned it up. You know, this roll, you twist this and this one slips out whenever you need to slip a long piece out or whatever. And what I thought was funny was, and you know, have what you will, I'll show you from this side here. Oh, move the camera over here. So what I did was, you can notice here on the end, they're on both of these on the top, there's grease zerks. Well, you actually pull this, slide this, and then this little arm comes off on both ends, and you have to do that in order to get, you know, everything open. And because I needed to slide these off to pull this and tighten, the main tightening piece is actually behind this jaw down here. So it was disassemble it, you know, and that's where I ended up lining the whole thing up when you tighten up a deal in the back. You can't see them here, but they're in the back. Anyway, so when I went to put it back together, I thought, you know what, I wanted to do grease or oil. And when I had this roller out, the little bushings that are in there, they're a pressed metal bushing. And by pressed, I mean it's like a powdered. You guys have probably seen them before. And I thought, okay, you know what, let me just go ahead and use, how many of us have a can of, you know, anti-seize sitting around? You can tell that's pretty old. I got to looking at the date the other day. It's 1998, and it's still good. It's sealed. It's just general purpose anti-seize lubricant, copper base, high temp, 1800, you know. And so how many of us have a can that's really, really old of never seize or anti-seize floating around? And I thought, okay, well, that'll work great, because number one, it'll kind of help everything work in, and I put it on the gears, and so for me and everything. And I thought, let's do it. So instead of, and I left those in there. I'm not going to ever pump grease in there, but I will use the never seize. And so I put that in there, and also on the gears and all the little bushings, because I had it all apart, and it just rolls really, really, really smooth. And of course, when I put it back together, I had to adjust, which I think is pretty neat. And whoever thought of this design, it's really, really cool. It actually has on the back, and I haven't set it up, but here's a little stop. So if you're feeding items through, for example, let me set this up here, and you want to feed something through at a certain, when you're set up, because here's how you adjust for when you're using your brake, because you actually bring the bottom jaw up. Okay, so to adjust for the thickness of material and desired bend, you loosen these, and you come in with a 6mm, I believe. Yeah, 6 mil Allen, and then you drop this down, and that's how you set the height for the thickness of whatever material you're going to bend. And you can just, you know, and on the handle here on the end, you can put it on either side, but you can actually adjust it to where you can get your leverage for the desired function when you need. For general purpose, I just leave it in the middle. So if you want it to only go through so far, that's what this other piece was that I slid through on the back, and it's the dead stop. So you know you're going through so far, and you're doing a lot of pieces. Or, you know, like I talked about before, you have your marks on your material. You can mark it. You don't even have to worry about that. And, you know, I'm going to go, I need to do, and your marks are on the edge of your material. So pretty good, pretty simple. Pull this up here. So this is pretty cool. While having this apart, the two hard jaws, the guillotine you can set up, and it's actually set to where it's closer on this side and wider on this side. So as it comes down, it's a guillotine shear action. So you can just, you know, you get up here and you get the piece you need. And I'll demonstrate. I've got a little piece of, this is 26 gauge galvanized sheet metal. Now, what this is for, to demonstrate, is you got a hard jaw here and here, and you adjust it. It's actually got adjustments where you move this in and out. These adjust how, you know, the blade. So it's pretty cool. There's some adjustments so you can get everything set up. Let me grab this here. So here's some 26 gauge sheet metal, and so that little piece on the front there, you slide it in. I'm just going to cut a little piece, and you just, the idea is to move quickly, and we've cut it off in the little pieces. Well, it fell down in the keyway back there, but that's fine. Anyway, you get the idea. And so this, actually, when it comes down, it keeps the metal from popping up, because if you don't, okay, and it just slides in and out. So if you don't, you'll actually see it'll try to stand up on the end, and that's what you don't want, because that's how jaws get damaged, is instead of being held in shear, is it folds up, and that's how you damage. And you don't want to damage your jaws. These two pieces of metal are definitely hardened. I hadn't tested the hardness of them, but and they're very, very, very sharp. They have the ability to, you can pull them off, and if you need to, you can set them. I could set it on the surface grinder and regrind. And so, like I said, this was actually a pretty smoking little deal. So when you put it in there and you pull down, you notice how this little spring-loaded piece, so even if you went slow, that it keeps the metal from kicking up, which is what you want. So let me put this back in the middle here. The other thing I like, and the reason I got it, was for the slip roll. Now, and here's how you can adjust your tension or your thickness for whatever material is going through initially. Now I have I set them back over there. Anyway, so I'm actually going to make, I thought about it, and I'll probably make me a little lever. But right now it's just got an Allen screw right here. And I will move you guys over to this side so you can see what I'm talking about. Okay. And I'm leaving you at a wide view so you guys get a good look at it. So there's actually a little Allen screw in here right now. Let me grab. Alright. And again, that's one of those things. You get tools, you always want to see how can I make them better. So let's pull out a 5 mil. And you just put it in there, and literally all you do, and there's an area, there may have been something that fell out in packaging. I don't know, I hadn't looked at it. And I'll probably make something that'll make a little twist knob that goes in there, more than likely. And that's probably what it's supposed to be. You see, yeah, that's loose. Okay, alright. So, what I was doing is you just slide this over, and then that allows your piece. I had this set, let me loosen that. There we go. And that allows your piece to come out, so if you've created a big round item, and you can see the little bushings on the ends there. There's one there and one there, and I was very liberal with the and I also put it in the socket, well, not on that side, but over here where the gear side was. And you slide it back in, and then you just reverse procedure. If I can get my Allen wrench lined up there. So yeah, I will make because it's threaded on the top here, I'll make something that screws in to where it's a little knob to where I can open and close. So I'm going to back you up just a little bit so we got room. And I'm just going to demonstrate. Now, also one other improvement I'm going to make on the back here, the adjustments. They've just got double end threaded rods. They're both right hand thread. But on the back end, all it had was these round plastic knobs and a lock nut. You know me with my lathe when I got it. One of the first things I did was I made brass handles. Now I'm not going to make brass handles, but I do have some hex stock. I got some short pieces, and so what I'm actually going to do, so it's easier, I'm just going to make some nuts and thread them on, and it's metric. 10 by 1.5. I'm just going to make, that's what hex stock's for. Just cut off a couple pieces, face it off, drill it, tap it, call it good, and then I got the lock nuts here. So that is going to be the knob, and what that is, that adjusts the height of your roller at the back to determine the amount of curl. And it's got pre-cut slots here for some different sizes. It looks 4, 5, and 6 mil is what I'm guessing, since it is a metric item. And you can adjust. It's like, okay, well that's only bending so far, and then you reach back here. Let me tighten that down, that'll help. Okay. So, okay. Alright, well we want it to even be more aggressive, so we'll give it about a full turn there, and you know, you just keep working it to get your desired bend. I mean, you can make it to where it's into a full circle if you want. So if you wanted to really pull this off, let's say you were doing some square stock, you could easily pull this. It comes apart real easily. Or you could even do it in the top one if you wanted to. You know, you'd come step over here and create some, you know, square bottom ones or whatever. You know, if you wanted to, you can make a whole nother, say, top jaw really easily, or roll or cylinder in here. And so, like I said, for what this was, and I know generally they're well over $400 and $500. Like I said, this one, it was a phenomenal deal. It has a cover that was on the top, and for me, I went ahead and left it off. It was a cover to where you could cover this, and it looked nice, but for me it was just something that was always going to clunk around and be in the, and when you opened it up it just fell off, so I took it off, I left it off. Matter of fact, it's already in the recycle bin outside. I just don't need it. One thing I will say, if you're going to be if you have a dedicated spot and you get one of these, then on the back here, you saw me have this a while ago, the little pump stop. I am not going to leave that on all the time. The reason is, you've got these two rods that are sticking out. I'll show the camera back here a little bit, and you guys will see what I'm talking about. So you know me in my garage, I'm always having to move stuff around, so I'm cognizant of that anytime I go to move something. So you can see from the back here, these sticking out all the time would be a problem. So they just thread in really easily, so to not have to worry about accidentally breaking them. And they've got little flats where you can tighten them in. I'm just going to leave these out, and they will be fastened together, and they will be they'll find a special spot. Okay, and that way you don't have to worry about, you know, you can see the handles back here where the adjustments are, and for everything. It's got mounting holes. It's got a serial number and a build date. This was built in April of 2016. And so that way, you know, it's got a serial number on it. So let's say, for instance, you know, you're one of those people that likes to, for insurance purposes, you know, a piece of serial, you know, insurance companies will prove you had it. What's the serial number? Pictures. So it's got a serial number. It's a good thing, you know. I would never worry about trying to warranty anything on this because, you know, it was import, not a big deal. But for me, for what I'm doing, and the garage guy, and you want to be able to do like artisan work, small stuff, man, you know, these are handy. And like I said, for everything that's there, it's very cost effective. You can get these at all industrial tool supply. They've got them. Like I said, when I was shopping around and I found that, I thought, you know what, that was just too good of a deal to pass up. It was a no-brainer. That's one of those, every once in a while you run into a really good tool deal. Right here, those are really good tool deals. But All Industrial has them, and they're very, very well priced, trust me. They're out there. And for pricing, contact All Industrial, talk to them, and they'll let you know. Like I said, they are over 70 pounds. I believe the shipping weight on this was 115 pounds, so it's going to be a freight item. So know that if you get one of these and you get it, you're going to need a dolly to move it around. or unbox it and disassemble it where it's at and carry it piece by piece, which is kind of what I did when I had the deal down here. I took it apart in the floor down to manageable size pieces, and I just started reassembling it up here to get it together. And once I have it together, I'm going to find a spot, and it's going to end up on that side of the garage over there by the bench grinder on the floor for right now. But I am going to have a cover made for it, have the wife make a cover that sets over it, just like on my I had her make one for my, you guys, I've had people ask, what's in the big blue container? That's actually a Squaremaster, just like Stan Zakowski uses. I have one, it's a big cover the wife made for it. You know, my granite plate has a wood cover over it, so that stuff sitting on top of my granite plate is actually on a wood cover that's about that far above the granite plate. So I'll actually have a cover made like that that'll slip over it. It's just it's marine grade material, like for a tarp, marine grade, and it'll just set over, and it'll be, and that way it's sitting on the floor, it's covered up, any grinding media or dust or whatever will not get into and mess things up. So anyway, I hope you guys have enjoyed it. That's kind of what's been going on. I've been busy the last couple of weeks. You know, I always say on my channel, when I get out here in the garage and do things, this is after I've taken care of all my family obligations and taking care of myself. I can't stress that enough. You know, I had a little scare and had to go to the VA. Actually, I was at the VA when it happened. Long story short, I found out I can't do contrast dye for a CT scan. Had a bit of a scare, and it really, I still don't feel really well. I feel like I'm about half throttle, and I've talked about it on social media, on Facebook when I do my Facebook live posts. But so I'm always doing Facebook live posts at times. I'll come out and it's you know, open, anything goes. You know, it gives you guys, the viewers and my friends on Facebook, a chance to ask questions, and that's why I do those. It's another form of just being able to sit on Facebook and being able to have a conversation about stuff like that and different things, and it's live, unedited. Unlike on Facebook here, there's a certain level of decorum because everybody out there, all age levels, so it, you know, it gives you another chance. So if you guys want, follow me on Facebook. I've got a Facebook page called Eagle Dust Off 37 that I do, and I'll post videos and stuff, but mainly it's on my personal page. I'll do the live feeds. I'm also on Instagram, and I'll post videos on Twitter. If you guys have any questions, my public email address, eagledustoff37@gmail.com. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. I notice I've been picking up a lot of viewers, and it's greatly appreciated. You guys, I love to hear about constructive ideas and things like that. Positive comments are encouraged. I enjoy intelligent conversation. Click the like button. Spread the word about my channel. And again, we'd like to give a big thank you to one of our channel sponsors, All Industrial Tool Supply, as well as American Rotary. You guys, if you're looking for and you want to get three-phase equipment like, you know, a Bridgeport mill or a surface grinder or even a big lathe, that's the way to go. It's a lot less headache than having a VFD, my personal opinion. A VFD doesn't, you know, give you warning when it goes out, and you have to fiddle around, and you got to rewire and refigure, and you actually lose horsepower. I learned in the process talking to them. I contact them at American Rotary. They'll answer your questions. And here's the other thing too, guys. They have a lifetime warranty on their rotary phase converters. You know, call them for more information. Talk to them there if you have any questions. They got all sorts of stuff. I'm a real big fan of it. You know, I even got so I don't have to walk over there. They even got a wire remote start. So now I can sit here if I want to start my rotary phase converter. I don't have to walk over there because it's cluttered. I can just right here, and then I can start my mill. You know, let me turn it off. And actually, it's not real loud at all. So give them a call. You know, they're great people. It's an American-made product in Menominee Falls, Wisconsin. So anyway, you guys and gals, thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. The channel's growing. Thank you to the hardcore viewers that have supported my channel for the last couple of years. It's really grown, and I'm really humbled by it. So a sincere thank you to my viewers and everybody out there in YouTube land and social media. Thanks for watching, you guys. I really enjoy doing the videos, and I've got a lot of projects on the horizon that I want to share on video. And so I just, again, a huge thank you. We're coming up on Christmas here in 2016, and so Merry Christmas from here in Albuquerque, New Mexico, in the United States of America, to everybody out there. And until next time, and I truly mean it, take care of yourself and take care of your family, because remember, at the end of the day, you and your family is all you got. Until next time, you guys, get out in the shop, the garage, wherever you're at. If all you got's a living room, start playing with your tools, having fun, and make something neat. We'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.